How's everyone doing? This is Carson from CS Coins. Welcome back to my channel. I have another penny hunt going for you guys today. We got another $50 bag here, and I'm trying to fill up my albums. We've got a 1909 to 1940 album. Not too many spots filled in this, but we did get some older ones. We got a 26, 27, 29, 35, 36, 37. We need to start finding older ones with mint marks. None of these have mint marks. But still not a bad start on this book, considering we're not too far into the series. And 41 to 74, it's gonna have a bit more fills, but we still got a lot of work to do with this one as well. Got some nice red cents going in the 60s, 70s. Some of these are really good. But I hope we can make some good additions here, maybe some upgrades for this video. And I'm really hoping I can find some nicer die varieties on these pennies. I know I found some of the wide AMs before and everything, but man, I really want to find something rare. So I hope we can do that. A nice DDO would be cool. 72, maybe a 55. That would make my day. It would probably make my year. So let's hop into this, and I'll bring you in on the first find. Hopefully we got some good ones in this bag. We just opened the bag here, and we are gonna have a weed already. Don't know the age on this one. I'm assuming it's probably 40s. We do have a 54D already. Nothing crazy, but that'll get us started on the finds. Got a couple more wheats here from some pennies I just pulled out of the bag. The one is outburst spacing. I can already see the date. The other one is not. So this one's a 1944. Man, that back is pretty toasty. It looks like it got dragged on a sidewalk or something. That's pretty rough. So that's wheat penny number 2. And 3, what's this one gonna be? 50-60, alrighty. 3 wheat pennies. I did pull a pretty nice 59D as well. I think we already have this one filled in the book, but we'll see if this one will upgrade. It's pretty clean. I know I found a Blazer 59 in one of my recent hunts. I just can't remember if it was a Philly or a Denver, but let's keep at it. There is more to be found. Haven't pulled any more pennies out of the bag, but I kind of glanced inside a little bit and saw this one. This looks to be a newer wheat cent again, and it is 58D. Hope we can break out of the 50s and 40s on this hunt. That damage almost looked like doubling at first. I thought I hit the jackpot. But we've got a 1955 Philly here, and it does not really look like the DDO. First I got a little excited because of the lettering on the 5s. Looked a little thick, but I think that's just the damage there. So we will take that one for sure. I think I'm seeing King George hanging out over here. Let's take a look at this. It is really beat up, but we do have a King George. And this one is a 1943. Awesome. I will take that. Happy to have some old foreign coins showing up in the bag. We do have another wheat penny here. This doesn't look to be anything special, but we will see. 56 Denver on that one. Got our first error of the bag here. It's nothing crazy, but I do find these from time to time on the shield sense. If you look up above like the R and E Pluribus-Unum, you can see a little die chip on the shield there. I feel like it's somewhat common to find these, but I still try to hold on to them. Still a pretty cool find in my book. Alright guys, I would say I am maybe a quarter of the way through the bag here. And I was looking in the back of the bag, and I happened to eyeball 2 wheats that were just hanging out right next to each other. They don't look to be anything old, but let's take a look together. We got a 55D and a 1940. The 1940 is going to be the oldest wheat so far, so that's pretty cool. Hopefully we can find one that's at least 1 year older and get some additions to our older album. But on top of those 2, I did spot another one outside of the bag, so let's take a look at that one. And that is another 55. Alrighty, let's keep at it. So I found that one die chip on the shield earlier, and it was a pretty small one, but this is probably the biggest die chip I've found on a penny. That's a pretty impressive one. Really nice big die chip right over the R where that last one was. It's pretty sweet, guys. That is a very noticeable one, and I'm happy with that. Let's keep after it. Alright, I've got a few wheats I wanted to show you all here. This one I already pulled aside. It was obverse spacing. We've got a 53 Philadelphia. Add that to the pile over there. We got quite a few wheats going right now. I would say maybe 8 or 9. And then back to the pile, we've got a couple more to check out. This one is a 56D. And I saw one more down here. Let's take a look at this one. Hopefully that one's a little bit older. Let's see. 45. All right. That was a lot of wheats. We got a pretty good pile going. I just hope we can get some older ones going. Another 50s wheat here. This one was obverse facing. 52 Philadelphia. Oh my God, guys, this is insane. This is by far the rarest penny I've ever found. We've got a 1984 double deer here. It's not in amazing condition, but you can clearly see Lincoln's ears doubled. The earlobe on the bottom. Oh my God. I can barely talk right now. This is insane, guys. Oh man, that is the first like amazing penny find. Hours and hours and hours and hours of looking through pennies. It's paying off. Oh my God. This has got to be over $100 in value here. Maybe a couple hundred, I don't know. I gotta look at the prices again. Oh my God, I am on cloud 9 right now. Let's go. We are getting pretty close to the bottom of the bag here. I've got the rest of the pennies laid out. Not much left in the bag, but yep, we do have a 41 wheat penny here. I do not see any doubling. You do want to check this one for the DDO. I don't see it, but we still got a wheat on the board. Let's go. Been finding a good amount of these this hunt, but I have another shield scent with the die chip. This one's above the S, 2013 on that. Let's put it under the scope and take a closer look at it. Right there, that is a pretty good sized die chip on that penny. So I will for sure be taking that one, adding it to the finds pile. We do have a lot of finds already. On top of that, I did notice a couple wheats in the pile, so we're gonna go ahead and reveal those right now. 44 Philly, all right. And I saw a wheat ear back here. Let's check this one out. 57D, let's keep at it. So I noticed that this Canadian scent was a little funky looking. I'm not sure if that is going to be damage or a misaligned die. I mean, that could even be a broad strike. I don't know a lot about broad strikes, but I might post this one on some error forums and see if I can figure anything out about it. It just doesn't really look like damage to me. It's a little weird that this would be, you know, sticking out and no other sides of the coin would be. So it's pretty interesting though. If that is an error, that's probably my first ever error Canadian coin. So pretty cool. Got a nice little scoop here in my hand. I'm seeing a couple wheat pennies. We've got a 51D. That one's pretty worn and beat up. And we also have a 1945. Take those and put them into our keeper pile. I don't know how many wheats we have at this point, but it looks like it's going to be probably 12 to 15 range, I would say. All right, we are almost done with this bag. Not a lot of pennies left to go through, but we do have some wheats at the bottom that I can see here. We got a 46 Denver here. And where's that other one that I spotted? There we go. Just kind of blending in. I think it's a 56D. So far, only 40s and 50s, and that may be how we end the hunt here, but we do have a good amount of wheats, and this makes up for all the old wheats we didn't find. That 84 double deer was amazing. Let's keep at it. Hopefully we can get a couple more finds out of the bottom of the bag here. All right, guys, we did have two more wheats at the bottom of the bag. We got a 57D and a 1951. Couldn't break out of the 50s or the 40s for this one, but we do have a nice pile of wheats, and maybe we'll have some additions to the albums here. I'm gonna go ahead and show all the finds all nice and neat, and then we'll see what we can add to our Lincoln scent albums here. All right, the $50 penny bag today is a wrap. We are done with this hunt. We did pretty decent on the wheat pennies as far as numbers, as far as dates, not the best. We got 1940 as our oldest, going all the way up to a 58D as the newest. So I don't think we'll have many editions. I think we'll at least have one though, because this one will go in the older book. 1940 was the last year on that one, and I know we don't have any of those yet, so that one will be an addition. We might be able to fit a couple of these in the newer book. And we've got a stack of the 2009 commemoratives here, pretty good amount of those. Didn't film those as I was finding them, but I always try to save on to the better ones. Down here we've got the errors. This one I think is probably going to be a misaligned die on this Canadian 1996. Probably not worth anything. I know the misaligned dies don't have much value, but this one was pretty significant. I've never seen a Canadian penny like that, so I'm going to hold on to it. We've got die chips on these three Shield Cents. We've got a 2013, a 2020, and a 2014. So I may flip those up. They're probably not valuable either, but still cool to have. These are just nice red cents that I think might be able to upgrade in the album or get a spot. And this is by far the best find of the hunt. This kind of made up for the lack of good dates on my wheat cents. We've got a 84 DDO FS101 doubled ear. If you guys look at the earlobe, like the bottom of it right there, there's going to be another earlobe. So if we put that under the microscope, show you guys what that looks like close up. And I don't understand why my scope isn't focusing. 1 minute. You can kind of see it there. I'm just trying to, there we go. It's getting a little more clear. There it is. Yep, so very obvious doubling here on the ear. It's exact doubling of that earlobe right there. That is a tough one to find. I know some people never find these. Some people it takes years. And we just started this series pretty recently and we've already got one. In this condition, I did a little bit of research. I think this is probably worth like 50 or 60 bucks. It's not in great shape, so it's not going to be worth a fortune or anything. If it was like Mint State or AU, it might be fetching a little bit more money. This one may be like XF or something, so not amazing condition, but it's still worth a little bit of money. I'm not exactly sure what it would sell for, but if I did put it on eBay, like I said, I think it could probably pull like $50 or $60. So that's pretty awesome for a penny. That is a lot more pennies than one. That's a lot of money right there for 1 cent. So pretty awesome. I'm very happy with this find. It's my best penny find yet. Not even in this series, just in general. I've never found anything like super amazing in pennies. So this is my best find. All right, let's see what we can fill in these albums, guys. I will be back. As I was saying, the 1940 was an addition for this older album, our 1909 and 1940 album. That was the only fill for this hunt. As far as the old book, we do have a 37, 36, 35, 29, 27, which was a really nice one, and a 26. So actually no mint marks in this book yet, which is kind of interesting, but hopefully we can get on the board with some better fills for this book in the next hunt. Real quick before we get into the other book, I totally forgot about our King George son. I saw it sitting in the corner over here by the scope. 1943 KG. Forgot to show it, but I still care about it. It's pretty beat up, but I have a roll full of these older Canadians, so that will go in that roll. That was a cool find. Let's get on to this album here, 41 to 74. I wasn't able to get many album fills in this album, but I did get a couple wheat cents. I actually haven't gone through the red cents yet. I'll just show you guys the wheat cent editions. We got a 51 in here now. We have a 52. Those are both new. And the upgrade for this one was the 56D. This one's a little more red than the one we took out. It's also in a little bit better shape. That's a pretty nice one, so I'm sure that'll be in the album for a while. But I'm going to look through my red cents. If I don't have any upgrades or any additions there, I will end the video here. We were able to get a couple additions for the copper cents as well. I got the 72S, which is new, and the 73S, which is new. We got some of those tougher S-minted coins that are a little more uncommon than these other ones. So pretty good fills right there. We didn't get a ton filled this hunt, but we're starting to see a lot of these gaps closing up here on both of these pages. This one, still a bit of work to do, and we do have a lot of work to do in the 1909 and 1940 album. But thank you all for joining me on this penny hunt and fill. It was a great time. I want to keep going with this series and keep finding some really nice coins. This one's a gem. That is definitely going in my binder. I have a binder where I keep like my rare coins, the coins in better shape, that kind of thing. And I put all the really nice flipped coins in there. So I'm gonna label this one up as the FS101 DDO, and it's going in there with all the other rare coins. A lot of crown die chip errors. It's gonna go next to those. So thank you all for watching. As always, I appreciate you stopping by. Drop a like, subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I will see you on the next one.